Welcome to the Committee of 100 tribute to our founding member, I.M. Pei, on this first anniversary of his passing. My name is Alice Young. I've been a member of the Committee of 100 by Renhui in Chinese since 1994, just 5 years after its founding. I had the privilege and joy of knowing I.M. both personally and on C100 projects. For the next 20 minutes, I will be your master of ceremonies as we celebrate I.M.'s life not only as a world-renowned architect, but as co-founder of the committee. In today's program, we will first view a short video of his founding of C100, together with his friends Yo-Yo Ma, Henry Tang, Shirley Young, Oscar Tang, and Chen-Sheng Wu. The video will be followed by remembrances by his son Didi Pei, who is also a member of C100. During the program, please use the Zoom chat feature if you would like to send the Pei family greetings and remembrances, just as if you were writing in the guest book at a wedding or commemoration. Or you can send any comments you would like to convey to the C100 community. The messages will later be compiled for presentation to the family and for possible posting on the Committee of 100 website. Many of you probably already know of the mission of Committee of 100, to build constructive dialogue and relationships between the people and leaders of the United States and Greater China, which is detailed in the video clip. What you may not know is its twin mission, to promote the full participation of Chinese Americans, and in fact, all Asian Americans in American society. In addition to highlighting Chinese American contributions to America, we provide educational and next generation leadership and philanthropy programs. We also speak out against anti-immigration policies and provide policy and community support against racism and discrimination, which has recently become even more prevalent against Chinese Americans during the COVID-19 pandemic. Together, our members contribute intellectual, business, and financial resources towards these goals, which are highlighted in the committee100.org website. And now, our video tribute to I.M.
In 1987, fate struck. Pei and Henry Kissinger met at a black tie event, setting the stage for a lifelong friendship.
I.M. appeared in my life when I started being active in the government, when he called on me at a time before relations had been established about the importance of China to the world.
At that event, Kissinger and Pei exchanged stories about working in China and their shared journey as immigrants rising as leaders in America. Dr. Kissinger encouraged Pei to consider organizing Chinese Americans like himself to address issues of international concern between the United States and China.
Tiananmen, it happened. And I think Americans at that time were really somewhat confused about what had happened. In fact, I was too. So in that sense, I think a few of us thought that we should take a position and try to explain.
Pei began to heed Kissinger's advice and turn his focus to reaching out to and convening Chinese Americans to discuss what had occurred in China.
He was the one person, perhaps, in the Chinese American community who had the capability to convene such a meeting.
It was the beginning of something, and I think we seem to have struck some kind of a chord that seemed to be resonate. And a lot of people are curious about what's happening. Since 1989, that interest has multiplied.
By the end of 1990, the core group had recruited 40 other distinguished Chinese Americans from the arts, business, academia, public service, and the sciences to serve on the committee.
Even though he had been in America for so long, he was deeply upset by what happened in China, even though he frankly wasn't that close to China because he'd been gone for so long and had some involvement, not that much. So he really helped kind of guide us to make sure that we really put this group together for the future, that would really look at U.S.-China relations and to try and help in that regard.
In 1994, Pei led a delegation to China, where a half-dozen committee members met with Chinese President Jiang Zemin to discuss the state of U.S.-China relations and share an American perspective.
Everyone's work is very, very important and contributes to the fabric of being Chinese in America and able to make a contribution.
Pei planted roots in the U.S. more than 80 years ago. His legacy flourishes with the 4 children, 7 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren who are building Chinese-American narratives of their own.
My children, my grandchildren particularly, they're becoming more and more Americans. Chinese people there, but how close could they get to that root? They should become American, they are. But I also want them to know that they came from somewhere that has a long history behind it. I know the history, but they don't. I think they have to learn about it themselves. Well, time will come that I hope that they will realize that, yes, I want to know. It will come, I think.
I.M. Pei is a scholar, a visionary, and inspiration to us all. The world will continue to admire and experience his legacy of masterful works. We all owe a debt of gratitude to I.M. Pei for trailblazing a path as a young Chinese immigrant in America who rose to fame as one of the world's most prolific architects. He continues to define greatness through creativity.
I came as a Chinese, I remain as a Chinese, now I'm American Chinese.
And now, a remembrance from I.M.'s son, Didi Pei.
Thank you very much, Alice. It is an honor to represent my family and C100 in this tribute to my father. He came to the US from Shanghai in 1935 at the age of 18 to attend MIT. There, he met my mother, who was studying at nearby Wellesley College. They were married in 1942 and remained inseparable for 72 years until she passed away on their anniversary in 2014. He won all the academic prizes at MIT and then at Harvard, where he was in graduate school, and joined the faculty after the war. In 1948, he moved to New York to work for the larger-than-life real estate developer, William Zeckendorf. In 1952, he combined the prize money from MIT and Harvard and took my mother to Europe. He loved learning about different cultures, and he wanted his family to share his curiosity. And thanks to him, we did. When my older brother graduated from prep school in 1962, we all went to France for the summer, and he took us to Paris, bought a Citroën DS, and drove us to our rented house in the south. The itinerary was determined by the architectural monuments and gastronomic landmarks on the way. At the end of the summer, he returned for a similar trip in reverse. When I graduated from prep school in 1964, we took another trip, this time to Italy. It was during that summer of 1964, when we had the house in Tuscany, that he made daily trips to the post office to call New York and learned that he had been selected to design the John F. Kennedy Presidential Library. He knew this would be a life-changing moment. The notoriety of his selection as architect for the Kennedy Library led to the commission to design the East Wing of the National Gallery of Art in Washington in 1968. The end of the decade of the 70s saw the completion of both the JFK Library and the National Gallery. China also opened up with a trip to China by President Nixon and Henry Kissinger in 1972. My father went to China in 1974 as part of a delegation of American architects. He had not been back to his homeland in almost 40 years. The 1980s were perhaps the busiest decade for the firm. My father was now a star and was offered the most prestigious commissions. In 1989 alone, 4 major buildings were dedicated: Mount Sinai Hospital in New York, the Bank of China in Hong Kong, Dallas Symphony Hall, and the Louvre Pyramid in Paris. He was 72 years old and in the prime of his career. But 1989 also saw the tragic events that occurred in Tiananmen Square. Amidst all the activity in his office, he penned an op-ed to the New York Times called "China Won't Ever Be the Same," in which he expressed his shock, embarrassment, and shame for what had happened. He wrote, "More than 50 years ago, my wife and I came to this wonderful country from China. For 40 of those years, we dreamed that one day it would be possible to work in our native land. More than anything, we wanted to combine our love of the nation that had become our own with our desire to do something for the land of our birth and heritage." Tiananmen was the catalyst for the creation of the Committee of 100. But why did my father feel the need to get involved? He may have been very charming and talented, but he was a very modest person. He was certainly apolitical. He was an unlikely founder of C100. Like so many other immigrants, he had been unfailing loyalty to his adopted country, but his Chinese roots were also an integral part of his identity. It is hard to believe that more than 30 years have passed since the founding of the Committee of 100. Its mission is every bit as valid today as it was then. Along with his unsurpassed professional career and dedication to his family, it is an essential part of my father's legacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee Dee, for sharing your memories. In these difficult times, we greatly miss I.M.'s wisdom and grace. Please note that this tribute is being recorded and will be available soon on the committee100.org website. This is Alice Young on behalf of Committee of 100, thanking you for joining us in this remembrance of our friend and C100 co-founder, I.M. Pei.